and he is kind and gentle.
The stepmother is mean to Hansel and Gretel.
She is greedy and selfish and yells at Hansel and Gretel a lot.
Hansel is a boy with brown hair. He is thin, brave, and he is smart. He has a sister called Gretel. Gretel is a girl with long brown hair. Gretel lives with her brother Hansel, dad, and mean stepmom.
Gretel and their family are very, very poor, and she is very, very shy.
Gretel wears an apron
and helps in the kitchen.
The children think the witch is a kind lady, but she's mean. The witch is a mean, wicked witch who kills children and eats them. She has frizzy hair and a big long nose. She has a walking stick and a candy house.
Once upon a time in a faraway land lived a woodcutter and his two children, called Hansel and Gretel, and their evil stepmother.
One night Hansel and Gretel are in bed, and Hansel hears their stepmother and father arguing about taking the children into the woods and leaving them there, and the father finally agrees.
Hansel, having heard his father and stepmother comes up with a plan. He decides to go outside to get some glowing stones. He then puts the glowing stones into his pocket and goes back inside.
The next day, the family makes their way into the forest. While they are walking, Hansel drops the bright glowing stones on the muddy ground.
Hansel and Gretel get left behind while their father and evil stepmother go to collect wood, only never to return. Hansel and Gretel fall asleep by the fire and wake up late at night. Hansel wakes up and says, "Come on, Gretel, wake up. We can follow the stones because the moon has risen." Gretel says, "Okay, let's go." The children arrive home at sunrise. The stepmother opens the door. Hansel and Gretel enter the house. The stepmother asks, "Where have you been?"
Hansel and Gretel enter the house, and their father sees them and hugs them with joy.
That night, Hansel and Gretel lay in bed and could hear their father and stepmother arguing. The evil stepmother says to the father, "We have to take them deeper into the forest and pretend to chop wood." The father says, "No, you can't. They're my children." And the father finally agrees. Hansel tries to get the glowing pebbles from outside the house, but the door is locked, so he goes back to bed.
Don't worry, Gretel, says Hansel. Trust me, I have a plan. The next day, the nasty stepmother wakes the kids up and gives them one bun each. The nasty stepmother says, "This is all the food you're getting for today." Hansel and Gretel get very upset because they only have one bun for the whole day, and they are very hungry.
Hansel and Gretel are taken to the deepest part of the forest. Hansel drops the breadcrumbs as a trail.
The next day, Hansel and Gretel go into the deepest part of the forests with their father and their evil stepmom. Then the stepmom tells them to stay there while they cut the wood. The children fall into a deep sleep by the blazing fire.
Hansel and Gretel eat the pieces of bread in the woods and then go to sleep by the fire. When they wake up, it is night.
They get up to follow the trail of the breadcrumbs and find that a red bird has been eating the trail of the breadcrumbs.
Hansel tells Gretel everything will be alright, and they explore the forest.
Hansel and Gretel see a white bird on a branch and follow the bird to a house made out of gingerbread. They then start eating the gingerbread house.
While Hansel and Gretel are eating the house, an old lady comes out of the house. Then the old lady asks them, "Why are you eating my house?"
The old lady invites Hansel and Gretel into her house, and she feeds them pancakes with sugar and milk.
The children sleep in freshly made beds. Since their stomachs are so full, they are soon asleep. They think they are in paradise, but little do they know that the old lady is actually a witch.
The witch goes into the children's bedroom and yells, "Wake up, you lazy children," and the children wake up.
The old wicked witch takes Hansel to the stable and locks him up in the cage. Then the witch says to Hansel, "This is where you stay until you fatten up."
The witch orders Gretel to feed Hansel, so Gretel finds some food and she gives it to Hansel. The witch tells Gretel that she is trying to make Hansel fat.
The next day, the evil witch visits Hansel and asks Hansel to stick his finger out to see if Hansel is fat enough to cook. Hansel quickly grabs a skinny bone and shows it to the witch. Since the witch has bad eyesight, she never recognized that Hansel was sticking out a very skinny bone and thought he was sticking out his finger.
The witch commands Gretel to go and get a bucket of water so that she can cook Hansel because she is very hungry.
The witch shouted to Gretel, "I've turned on the oven, check it."
The witch wants to eat Hansel, so the witch tells Gretel to check if the oven is hot enough. Gretel plays dumb and says, "How do I check?" "Dumb child," cried the witch, "it's big enough to even fit me." The witch demonstrates, and as quick as a flash, Gretel pushes her in and locks the oven door.
Gretel rescues Hansel and tells him that it's going to be okay. They start to search the house for hidden treasure. They find lots of gold and gems.
Hansel and Gretel went to explore the witch's house and found gems and jewels. They wanted to be rich, so they went looking for more. Hansel and Gretel leave the witch's house and go back to the dark forest carrying lots of shiny gold and gems.
Hansel and Gretel find a river but can't see anything to cross it. But then Gretel sees a duck.
Gretel sings to the duck, and the duck takes them across the water one by one.
Hansel and Gretel recognize the forest and start to make their way back to their house.
Hansel and Gretel rush in, hug their dad, and show him the jewels and pearls they found. Their dad smiles and says, "You know your stepmom?" "Well," he says without waiting for an answer, "she's dead. Bad luck, really." "And yay," say Hansel and Gretel together.